champ of the mic on tonight. With a mind so slick and a suit so clean, he's running this ring like a wrestling machine. From gold-plated deals to jaw-dropping schemes, he's the mastermind of your wildest dreams. Stand up, take note, bow down if you can. It's the Brilliant Show with the Brilliant One. He's the man.
Into the Brilliant Show. I'm just going to say this. Welcome in, Tommy Xero. What's going on, man?
Hey. It's a pleasure to be here on the Brilliant Show, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes, sir. And I want to thank Dave Miller real quick for that awesome intro that he helped create. And here's JD the Kraken. What's up, JD? What's going on, man? You might need to get Tommy on over there to the GCW soon. So,
I'm not going to say no.
But man, what's going on? How's your night starting out?
Night's not too bad. Getting ready to head up to Indiana for a show on Saturday. We leave Fridays, usually come back Sundays, wrestle on Saturday. So that's always a good time there. Revolutionary Championship Wrestling in South Bend, Indiana. Mishawaka, Indiana. It's like 15 minutes.
Yeah, Mishawaka. Trust me, Hunter Hendricks let me know the name. And speaking of Hunter Hendricks, Dad,
hey, what's up,
there it is.
Hey, Lenore.
Yeah, Lenore Lynn there. So Indiana, man, like it's got to be fun making that trip. How long's the trip for you up there?
So I live in Tallahassee. So from me, it's about 16 hours. It's nothing crazy. So when I lived in Buffalo, that was like an 8-hour trip for me. So it's nothing too crazy. But I love traveling. I love exploring the roads. Like I feel like throughout my career, I've learned so much more on the road than like being in the ring. So it's always fun to be able to pass knowledge on to others. Has always been something I love doing. So it's fun, you know.
16 hours. Oh my goodness, man. Like that's a travel. But now, like you said, Tallahassee, right? Don't tell me you're a Seminoles fan, are you?
Oh no, I'm not from Tallahassee. I just live here. I was born in New York City, but I went to school in Austin. So hook 'em. A Longhorns fan.
I don't know about that either. That's not too good either, man. But yeah, man. So 16-hour drive. I think Hunter's been up there with you. Do y'all travel together sometimes up that way?
Sometimes, yeah. Me and my partner Damian Castle, we've brought Hunter with us to a couple shows in Indiana, and he's shown out. He showed up. He's impressed, and he's always welcome back. But his booking schedule and our booking schedule sometimes interfere. Like, for example, he has a show coming up on Saturday, same day as the show in Indiana. So he can't obviously go with us, but we have a very special guest coming with us on Saturday who's actually in the chat right now. I see you, bud.
Is that the special deal? I'll make I won't ruin it, but so like how many times have you wrestled up in Indiana for this company, and like what's the feel like in Indiana? Like, because independent wrestling all over there's different styles of fans.
Oh yeah. So for RCW, this will be the third time I've wrestled for RCW. But I've been wrestling in Indiana before. Like I also wrestled for Pro Wrestling King, which is also based in South Bend, and I did that for years. It's a different vibe. Like, so the way I've always seen it, because I've gotten to wrestle in a lot of different places. The Northeast, the Midwest, and the South are way different. From the style to the vibes. Every locker room is gonna have your mix of vets and just honestly people who don't know what the hell they're doing. But that's like Hunter could be smart. He's talented, but he's a little bit of a I don't know if I can swear on here. Probably not.
Yeah, you can. You can say whatever you want.
He's a little bit of a shithead, but I love him.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I know it very well. I've been around it myself. What's up, Christopher Chambers? But how did you get your start? Like you said, you were from New York City.
Yeah.
All right. How did you fall in love with wrestling, man? I mean, like, what brought it on?
Falling in love with wrestling. So I was 6 years old. It was January 1996. So it was right before I turned 6. It was one of the few memories I have with my dad, where he ordered the Royal Rumble, and the very first match the very first match I saw was Goldust versus Razor Ramon. Now, you would think that Razor Ramon and how cool he was and all that swagger and presence was what got me into it. But no, it was how weird Goldust was. I love it. Goldust versus Razor Ramon, Intercontinental Championship, Goldust winning the title. Like it captured me. Hey, thank you for that. It honestly captured me to the point where it's like, I can keep watching this. This is cool. I love this. And so it just continued on, into my adulthood. So I graduated high school at 17, moved to Texas from New York City. Like first time away.
That's a culture shock right there, wasn't it?
I got it. Living in Austin for 2 years was wild. So I got my associates. I moved back to New York City. And I ended up going to the Chikara Wrestle Factory in Philadelphia, which was a 2-hour trip from New York City. I trained under Mike Quackenbush and Claudio Castagnoli right before he ended up getting signed to the WWE. So I was in one of his last classes. And I graduated from wrestling school in late 2009, had my first match. Did some more training in South Jersey under Devastation Wrestling Federation, Loco Pro in Philly. And then from there, I've just traveled anywhere and anywhere that would let me. And 16 years later, I'm still here. Barely. My knees are a little messed up. My back and my neck are messed up, but I'm here.
Welcome to the wrestling business. Look, I got something to say when I get done with this, but Goldust is definitely fun to watch. Goldust, I remember when he debuted in 1995 in your house. He came out to take on Marty Jannetty, and I can just remember him coming out. That was an attraction in itself, and I'm that kind of guy. I love the attraction, I love the stories. I was always a fan of the Goldust way, but when he pulled the wig off, and he's gold all over, but his ears were black, and that just set it off. That was like, okay, this is different. It kind of freaked me out.
Created that depth and that difference. It was just something so starking and shocking about his appearance. I was just like, wow, this is really cool. Oh, I love Brett. Brett's awesome.
Oh, don't even get that man brought up in here. I saw you versus Muddy Waters at MCW. Sippy Show says, now you probably drank through the whole thing. Xero, I helped book Tommy in Louisiana almost 10 years ago, and I wasn't even there that night.
Yeah.
I
that
tell
was
you what.
for Elevate Pro. That was actually my first time meeting Penta.
You
story.
were there the night Penta was there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was.
That was
I forget the name of the show, but it was a Halloween themed show, and it was dope. So behind the scenes, in Louisiana, you need a wrestling license. At the time, the year it was, the license card was green. So the doctor's going around and asking everybody if they have their license. He gets to Penta. Penta at the time, not speaking English. He goes, this is my best impersonation of this doctor. You have your little license? You have your green card? And I watched Penta ball up his fist. And my tag team partner, my brother Eric, and I, we look and we go, oh shit. And Lucha Lacora, comes to break it up. It's like, no. License. And Penta goes, oh, license? Yeah, I need. And I'm like, oh my God. Is it still green? I don't know. I haven't wrestled in Louisiana since then. But yeah, that's my favorite moment in a locker room, because we almost watched Penta kill a guy accidentally. Because then the doc is just like, what do you mean? I didn't do anything wrong. I don't understand why he's so mad. All I did was ask him if he had his license. His little green. Oh my God.
Well, SingPet says it's no longer green.
I don't know. I haven't wrestled since then in Louisiana, so it might still be green. I don't know. Shout out to Brett. All of his dastardly deeds aside from what I saw and what I keep seeing, he is a good dude. At least what I remember.
Yeah, well, you're about the only one that thinks he's a good dude. But anyway, Lynn said she was born in 97. Man,
I was born in 90.
Look, I don't even want to give my age, because I'm way older than both of y'all. So
I just turned 35 on May 4th. I feel
Well, I'll
so
be
old.
40. I'll be 42 in August. So,
Ooh.
let's see. Definitely gonna tell my friends who loves my Penta. Yeah. Brady and Landry does suck CPET. You are right. Hunter Hendricks, Brady and Landry sucks eggs. See, you
Yeah,
have not seen one positive thing about Brady and Landry, have you?
breast catching all the heat.
Brandon Turner is 45. Shut up, CPET. Shut up. You know, I look much younger than what I really am. Hunter Hendricks sucks. We've already covered that as well. So Elevate Pro, man, that was a fun promotion back in the
Oh yeah.
day. And Sing Pet's a shooter, and Hunter Hendricks sucks. But being able, you wrestled in Louisiana. We know you wrestled in Florida. You've wrestled in Mississippi, Alabama. What's some other states that you have hit, and what's some states you want to hit that you hadn't got?
So I've gotten to wrestle in California. I've gotten to wrestle in New York. I've gotten to wrestle in New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Massachusetts.
Finding nobody. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Georgia. Did I say Ohio? Ohio, Indiana, Michigan. As far as places I'd love to wrestle, I'd love to go to Pacific Northwest. Like that crowd area is just like fantastic for wrestling. Like Defy is a big goal for me. I'd love to wrestle for Hood Slam in Oakland, California. Like that'd be fun. Those are two big ones for me.
Man, I'm gonna just tell you this. You know what I'd like to do if I was a wrestler, which I'm not. I'm a manager, but I do have the wrestling skills of Kurt Angle, but I just don't put them to use.
Smart. Keep your weapons.
If I did want to wrestle somewhere, I would want to wrestle in Japan. At least one time wrestle in Japan. Now, have you ever wrestled outside the U.S.?
I've wrestled in the UK for Power Trip Wrestling in Luton, Luton, England, which is no longer running. And I got to do a spot show in Mexico where I was under a mask. That was a wild time. I did that in 2010. So it was very early on in my career, but I haven't gotten to go back to Mexico.
Now, the independent scene in England is that's totally different from the independent scene here in the United States. It's a whole different monster. And you brought up Quackenbush. That's what I was wanting to get to before I got distracted. I get distracted easy. Quackenbush, man, great guy, great talent. Matter of fact, I think he's coming to Crusade Pro pretty soon. And
doing a seminar,
I can't wait to be a part of that. I'm going to reach out to Quackenbush, try to get him on the podcast. I'd love to have him on the podcast. But what was it like being around him? And just because I know that had to have been a good environment, a fun environment to be a part of. I'm pretty sure it was hard too.
Yeah, it was at the time. It was hard. Definitely tested my cardio because at the time I had played baseball before I started wrestling, so I had baseball cardio. I was not ready for being in wrestling ring shape at all when I started, especially not at 19 where I still smoked and like I was drinking. Like it was not great. But Quack whipped me into shape. I have probably he's the master of 1,000 holds. I have probably learned maybe a quarter of them and use them well. But like Quack he's a well of knowledge. Like I have learned so much from just breaking down everything that he has taught me and everything that he continues to teach others. He has a YouTube series called Till We Make It. And even now he's still giving out these little tidbits of knowledge that are so useful to people just breaking into the business. I love Quack. He and I haven't always seen eye to eye on certain things. As when I was younger, I had a very big ego, but
no pro wrestler having an ego. Come on.
But I've grown to understand and appreciate the things that he was telling me then, and I wish I had applied them earlier on.
Yeah, it's amazing what we know now. If we could have known it 10 years ago, where we'd be. Chris Chambers got this. Who is your most notable opponent?
Ooh, my most notable opponent. Maybe not notable then, but I got to wrestle Punishment Martinez before he got signed to NXT. No, it was before he got signed to Ring of Honor.
So he was still a big boy at that time.
It was in both of our shared hometowns in the Bronx. It was literally 2 blocks away from where I was living at the time. It was a great time. Of course, I went under to the South of Heaven, which I love that he's still using now because it's such a unique move. Like a sit-out choke slam, like a sit-out one-handed choke slam is wild. Because you've always seen like A-Train's Baldo Bomb or like, stuff like that. That one-armed, sit-out choke slam was so fun. It's such an easy move to take too. Like it's such a fun bump. It sucks at like 3 days later. And you're like, why? But at the time, it's super fun. He's probably the most notable. Also Lance Hawaii at East Coast Pro. No, was it East Coast? Yeah, it was ECPW in Pennsylvania. This was like 2012 or so. So those are probably my top 2 most notable.
What's your
and I guess OI4K in Ohio wrestled Dave Christ and Brandon Xavier, who's now what's his name, Wesley in NXT. Yeah. So those are probably like 4 of my top most notables.
Well, who's your favorite opponent to have wrestled?
Ooh, my favorite opponent. Ooh, that's a good one. Probably Priest. Because I did learn a lot from that match. So it was probably him. He gave me a lot of good tips, a lot of good advice. And then, like I said, a couple months later, he was in Ring of Honor. So, like, it clearly worked. Shout out to Danny Cage and Monster Factory for him.
Heck yeah. All right. Don't forget to like the video, share it. And if you got any questions for Tommy, he's here to answer them. We're going to get into a lot of different stuff. I do want to bring up a picture, though, that I saw. And I can't believe that, I don't know how much you've watched the podcast, but I have disdain for one person, and he likes to piggy off and try to get names on, get on people's backs to try to uplift himself. So,
yes, that photo shared by Walter Alexander.
Yeah, the worm. Yeah.
Listen, Walter has never done anything wrong to me. He hasn't wronged me.
Not yet. You haven't got there yet.
Well, listen, I can only judge people based on how they treat me. So,
and I appreciate that. And I appreciate that because that's the way I am. I mean, I have people come up to me and tell me, oh, so and so was this and so was that, and I'm like, well, it ain't been that way to me yet.
Yeah,
but I
absolutely understand the court of your peers. I understand that, but if nobody has given me a reason personally to dislike them, or they haven't wronged me in any way, I have no reason to pile on and whatever bullshit they're going through. I have no reason to add to that. That's just the way I am in life. I believe in karma. I believe in, balance. And if somebody's a bad person, bad things will happen to them. Somebody's a good person, they'll get back what they give in. That's just the way I am. So,
well, you know what? Me and you share the same philosophy, because I'm the same way. There's a lot of people I get along with that other people dislike. That's just the way it goes and stuff like that. And we move on with this. Let's see. One of my friends started her training in the UK a year in. Hey, I mean,
very nice. Well, tell your friends to keep at it. It's not easy, especially so. I believe female wrestling, women's wrestling in general, should be on the same par as men's wrestling. There are just as many talented female athletes as there are male athletes. Sometimes some of them are better. So it's gonna be tough because you do have to still break through the stereotypical barriers that are put in front of them. But there's no reason why they can't succeed. You look at some breakout women's indie stars. You look at people like Janai Kai from MLW. You look at the Henry sisters in the NWA. You look at Succubus over in the UK, who's making a huge name for herself right now. Yeah, it's possible. You just have to know your worth, and you have to
Well,
know what's ahead of you.
well, if you look at it, and Sippy, you are not one of the hated ones, brother. But anyway, uh, here's the thing. Like, let's go back a few
Hmm,
years ago. Women's wrestling was on top of the pinnacle at that time.
absolutely.
All right, you look at what Sasha Banks, what Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bailey, and others did in NXT. They made women's wrestling, they took it to another level.
Oh, yeah,
Okay. They
they
made it
definitely,
mainstream.
yeah.
They made it mainstream. And then you've got all the females coming out. Now, the independent scene is hard, especially in the South. All right. If you
Mhm.
go up to the Northeast, this is where we talked about like differing fan bases and stuff. You go to the Northeast, Midwest, West Coast, all
Yeah.
that. Women's wrestling, there's a plethora of women and talent. In the South, there's really not that much in, like, I would say the top part of Florida, Mississippi, and Alabama. There's very few and far in between. You get to
Mhm.
Texas and you get to Florida, the bottom part of Florida, you just got a lot of talent, but it's hard to get it all out there. Let's see what Chambers had, or let's see what Steven Dixon had to say here. Is there someone you would really like to get in the ring with?
Ooh. Hmm. I think right now, Trey Miguel. I think that would be fun because Trey is so talented.
Oh
Uh,
my God! Don't even. I cannot.
Trey
Let me
is
get out.
Trey is so talented. Uh,
Let me get out of here. What? No. Apparently, yeah, you did not listen to my old podcast. But anyway, continue on Trey Miguel.
oh, I'm sorry. I just started listening when I started seeing Ryan pop up. So forgive me,
Yeah.
I might be a little behind. But Trey Miguel is definitely one up there. I think another one that my my ultimate dream opponent is Minoru Suzuki. I've said for years that I want to be
I saw
personally
that.
victimized by Murder Grandpa. That is one of my number one goals. Is just one day. But yeah, Trey Miguel and Minoru Suzuki are definitely up there for me.
All right, I'm gonna just say this. The Trey Miguel thing came from my old podcast back in King of Wrestling podcast. I'll get to that in just a minute, but we'll go to this. Tommy, I love your mic work. So putting you on the spot, your Mount Rushmores of mic guys.
Oh, okay, okay.
And
So
so while you're thinking of that, Sippy, you're not the hated one, but you're definitely not the loved one. But I like you.
okay, so I'm only going to name four. There's probably like 10 I could name, but at least as far as what I can see them have influenced me with, and how I can see them influencing others. The Rock, Stone Cold, Jake the Snake Roberts, and a modern day one is MJF.
Oh, yeah.
They're all kind of within the same vein of just being captivating and making you listen. Like even if you don't want to hear them, they make you listen. Like they can have different tones and different pitches. Like Jake and MJF, they don't need to yell. They don't need to yell. They make you listen, especially
Yeah.
Jake. Jake was so good at it.
Very
Jake was
light.
almost
Yes.
poetic.
And Arn Anderson, too, was the same.
Yes, very much so. A lot of people respect Arn for his wrestling ability, but a lot of people forget how good on the mic he was.
Yep.
And then, of course, The Rock is The Rock and Stone Cold is Stone Cold. You know, just that electric, charismatic energy about them.
You know, Stone Cold didn't really have to say nothing. All he had to do was say hell yeah, and they just went nuts anyway. Dave Miller, the guy that made the custom Brilliant Show intro and one of the greatest refs on the independent scene. Trey is very talented. All right, I'm going to get to this in Mississippi. I'm going to get to your question in just a second for Tommy here. But, Trey, this is my thing. At least back in 2019. All right, now I'm a little bit – I think Trey's very talented. Don't get me wrong. He's great in the ring. Not taking nothing away from him there. He just has no personality. I just don't see a personality. When he's with, Zachary Wentz, who I also don't think has much of a personality, and they're doing the Rascals.
Mm.
Now, this was, hold on, let me finish. This was 2019. Okay, when I said this.
Okay.
All right, we move forward to where we're at now. And I've been watching TNA and I've been keeping a lookout. I've watched them, Zachary, when he went to WWE, went to NXT. They have garnered that. They have garnered the reaction. So I do have a change of heart on Miguel and, Zachary Wentz as the Rascals. I think they're doing a great job. And as a matter of fact, I think watching TNA is exciting. I love watching that scale.
It definitely fell off for a while, but like in the last, I want to say maybe 4 years or so, I've really gotten back into TNA. And
I've really gotten back into TNA when it changed back to TNA. Like when they started doing that, they went back to the old branding.
Yeah.
And the stories are there. The stories have kind of always been in TNA. It's just how they've been executed. And I think they've been executed.
The presentation is everything. And a lot of people forget that. It's like, it is a sport, but it is also very much so entertainment. And you have to find a way to balance them both. Like great wrestling, anybody can be a great wrestler, but you have to be able to talk them into the door or talk them into them seats. If you can't do that, then what are you?
Exactly. And what people also forget is entertainment side. You have to entertain these people. It's not just about putting on a wrestling match. You have to entertain the people. Sippy, Xero, if you had to perform a finisher on me, which finisher would it be? Look, Sippy, ain't nobody trying to put no finisher on you. But which one would it be?
My MDK, very similar to Drew McIntyre's Claymore. Just quick kick to the jaw. You won't even feel a thing. Well, you won't remember
anyway. He's done drank so many of them paradises. He's already not done. If you could, I would love to be a manager or a photographer for the local indie shows. If I could,
do it.
I'll just say this.
All you got to do is ask.
Just
be a manager. Get training. First and foremost. Yeah. If you're going to be involved in around the ring in any way, get trained. But as far as photography goes, ask. That's it. There's nothing wrong. Like, I don't understand companies that don't have both a videographer and a photographer, because what are you doing? Like, who's going to know your product exists if there's no evidence of it, if there's no footage to be found anywhere? That's why I don't understand promotions that hog their library and never release footage. Like, they always say, oh, I'm editing, but then nothing happens months later. Like, it blows my mind, because how is that supposed to help us promote you? Like, as a promoter, your job should be wanting to make $1, wanting to get people to see your product. The best way to do that is to let us wrestlers have our footage from these shows to spread the word. Like, it's easy promotion, and a lot of people forget that. Videographers and photographers are so important.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll get to this. Let me see. Dave Miller, Georgia Championship Wrestling. Jake was next level. Next level. He was next. I watched Tim and Terry Taylor have a match.
Untouchable.
Yeah. In Mid-South, I watched Tim and Terry Taylor have a match, and Jake had such a great mind for wrestling. Period. The psychology side of wrestling. Like, he started a match with Terry Taylor. All right, Terry Taylor walks in, he kicks him, DDT to start the match. That's how it started, okay? He kicks him in the gut, DDT, boom. He's up, he's taunting him. I mean, he's sitting here kicking him in the head. He's just playing with him, and he's just laughing about it. Turns around. This is when Jake was heel. Terry Taylor gets enough energy up to do the schoolboy 1, 2, 3, stuns Jake Roberts, who was, taunting it. It made sense.
Simple storytelling. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be something so simple as that. And as long as it gets the reaction that you're looking for, job done.
Exactly. Jake Roberts, one of the best in psychology. Favorite college football team or NFL team? I don't know. Sippy. This is not Sippy Show's sports show. This is the Brilliant Show. But anyway, go ahead.
Welcome. University of Texas at Austin. As far as NFL team goes, I hate it every time I say it, but since 2002, I have been a Cleveland Browns fan. and existence is
Who?
pain. The Cleveland Browns. Existence is pain. All I know is pain and suffering.
Well, let me ask you this: since you're a Cleveland fan, what's your thoughts on Shador getting drafted there?
I don't hate it. I think it's room for him to grow, especially knowing that the Browns are not going to be very successful, period. So it's going to be a good 3 years of learning for him. And eventually when he moves on to, I don't know, Dallas or someplace, he'll be fine. He'll have the experience he needs. I don't think he's going to be a starter early on, but definitely.
Well, he don't need to be a starter early on. I mean, he really don't.
Unless he was daddy.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. See, but here's my thing is I think that the reason he dropped so far in the draft, everybody's like, why did he drop so far in the draft? Well, it's because of his daddy.
Mm-hmm.
His daddy made it very difficult for him. And then he didn't help himself when he said, well, what do you think about not being drafted in the first round? Well, I see 32 mistakes. That's also, didn't help him. Now, I'm going to say this. Do I see Shador as an NFL quarterback right now? No, I do not.
No.
He's going to have to sit behind somebody. Nobody ever saw Tom Brady as an NFL quarterback.
No, and now he's honestly the greatest of all time.
Exactly. So, and I love Jalen Hurts to death, but I never thought he was going to be an NFL quarterback. I thought, I didn't think he had the strong enough arm, but guess what? He proved me wrong. And he is one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, and I love it. I'm glad that he is there. Because, I've always been a fan of Jalen. And I've seen him overcome a lot. And where he's landed, being a national champion at Alabama to a Super Bowl champion now, that's just a great, great insight on it. But Shador, my thing with this is that he's got a lot to learn.
Absolutely.
And if he will apply himself and learn, I don't know if Cleveland's going to be the place for him to learn because he's sitting behind not so many great quarterbacks at this point now, but I think if he can just kind of fit himself in, I think he'll be all right.
Same.
I don't think he's going to be Patrick Mahomes, but he'll be there. Because Patrick Mahomes that's a beast, son.
Yeah, Mahomes has been on a different level since the day he stepped on the field. Like, it's wild.
Man, I watched Mahomes when he was at Texas Tech, and I told everybody, I said, that kid's going to be a star. And I think he passed the star. I think he's another level. I think he's his own thing now. But,
yeah.
You look at it right now, I mean, you cannot deny it. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback. And I know we're into football right now, but we're going to get back to wrestling. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. I've always been a Tom Brady fan. I never thought he was going to be nothing in the NFL. If it wasn't even for Drew Bledsoe being such an idiot, and or not an idiot. Let me take that back. Not an idiot.
I mean, I didn't think you were wrong.
But Drew Bledsoe got too many chances. He just wasn't that good. And he got hurt. And when he got hurt, they offered it to Brady. When you're great and you're sitting and waiting, and you want to be great, and you're sitting and waiting, and then you come in and surprise everybody, and then you become the number one quarterback. Peyton Manning, top 5, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And even as young as he is, even as young as his career, I put Patrick Mahomes top 3.
Yeah, right, it's hard to argue that. So, yeah, I'll agree with that.
I mean, it's just – you got to give Peyton Manning and Tom Brady were 2 smart quarterbacks. And when I say smart, you never saw him run. You never saw him take many hits. And, Tom Brady – you could have put me out there with Tom Brady, and I would have been a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Because if you look back at it, how many Hall of Fame wide receivers was under Tom Brady in his entire tenure? 1, Randy Moss.
Randy Moss. Yep, and that was late years too.
Yeah, exactly. And I was so pissed. I wanted Randy Moss to get that damn Super Bowl so bad. You just don't even know. I've been following Randy Moss since he was at damn Marshall. And I was just like, I wanted him to win that damn Super Bowl. I wanted the Patriots to go in that year because I wanted him to get that damn Super Bowl. And a damn Manning messed it up, and
Twice.
he is not. Yeah, twice, and he is not in the top 5.
No, Eli, absolutely not.
But anyway, let's get back to some wrestling questions. See, Sippy, you done messed me up and got me on football. I like football. All right, Arn, Jake, Dusty, and MJF is what Chris says on the Mount Rushmore. My dad loves Arn and Dusty. Mike skills, well, you can't deny their skills. I mean,
no, absolutely not.
I mean, especially Dusty. I mean, Dusty, he made you believe.
Oh,
He
yeah.
drew you in. You felt it. You know, there's very few people that can do that now. Brilliant one. Getting the good heat. Good heat? What do you mean good heat? What is heat? I don't know what heat is. Raven is my favorite person to watch promos of. Raven was very, but Raven was a different kind of promo. He was his psychology.
Much in the vein of Jake, yeah.
Yes.
Also made you listen, made you fear just a little bit, It was great. I love Raven. Raven's another one that would be in my top 10, but I left that at 4.
Raven in ECW, that was just legendary. The promos he did in ECW were, bar none, him and Steve Austin in ECW doing promos, bar none, the best. And Mick Foley too. Let me go ahead and edit. Those were better than what was on the Big Two at the time. Let's see. Oh, ouch! Laugh out loud. Sippy shows. Ever performed a choke slam in a match?
Yes.
Oh, that was easy.
A couple times, yeah. I used to be a big guy up north. Like I moved down south, and all of a sudden at 6'1", 243, I'm the smallest guy in a match. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, Sippy's taking the Browns to the Super Bowl as we talk. I'm sorry, too much information. Oh, let's see here. I'm a Baker Mayfield mark. I'm sorry.
I mean, I love Baker.
I've never heard of one.
Did him dirty. I think Cleveland did him so dirty, and I hope he wins a Super Bowl before Cleveland does. I'm saying that as a Browns fan.
Let me just say this: Baker Mayfield will win a Super Bowl before the Browns, and they did do him wrong. Mm-hmm. And he's done good in Tampa. He's done good in Tampa. Hunter Hendricks, shut the F up. Hey, that's Shook White. Have you ever met Shook White?
I have not, but I've seen his name pop up on my feed a couple times before. I've seen very talented dude, so I'd love to cross paths with him.
He's great. He's going to be on the podcast soon, just to let you know, so everybody out there wants to tune in. Kind of wish there was some training school closer to Pensacola. Hey, look, when I started training, I'm just going to be honest with you. When I was driving an hour and a half twice a week after work. I'd work all day, drive an hour and a half, train, drive home that night, go back to work the next morning. Hey,
That's how I was. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'd be on a bus from New York City to Philadelphia, 2 hours. Yep.
So, I mean, it's worth it. I promise you. And let's see. Supper time, be back in a bit. Man, supper time's every minute for you, Chris. I mean, look, you're when you say free buffet, Chris Chambers comes running.
I mean, I also would. I love me a buffet.
Joe Flacco is the man. What century are you living in, Steven Dixon?
Like the Browns 2 seasons ago or last season, 1 or 2. He was a saving grace.
Yeah, he was. Well, you know what was crazy was Flacco. Wasn't he at the Jets when what's his name got taken out? What was that dude's name? And he came in and it was like he hadn't played in forever. And he just started chunking it was the Colts. It was the Colts. When what's his name got hurt.
Was it Luck? Was it Luck? When Luck,
No. It was recently. Anthony.
What is his last name? That's going to bother me.
Let me look it up. Because I've got two too. Because it's Colts quarterback Anthony something. I think it was Anthony. Wait a minute. It was Matt Wilson. Because he was at the Jets, wasn't it? I
honestly don't remember.
I don't either. I don't know. Let me see
Richardson.
here. I'm
Okay.
trying to get caught up here on this. Let's see. I like that Bryce Young is developing now. Where's he developing at? I love Bryce, but ain't no developing in Carolina. Hey, Matt Gibson,
Oh,
you're his hero. Bro, you late on the comments. I was talking about when you were speaking about Trey Miguel. Oh, well, I'm trying to get caught up on the comments now. Xero looks like he played football. Did you play football?
I was wide receiver for like a year in high school. That was about it. It was like freshman year, and I just switched to baseball.
This man right here is one of the best hands on the independent. I would give him this guy props. That's Moondog, baby.
Love
Justin Stone there. He met you at New Wave. New Wave. I've heard that one before. Never been there, but how's New Wave?
Fuck
Oh man. There you go. Oh, Anthony Richardson, fool. That's what Suge White said. Anthony Richardson. That is right. Richardson. He come in and started slinging. That's right. Yeah, he's with the Dolphins now. Zach Wilson. That's right. He slept with his teammate's mother.
Oh my God, yeah, that was him. Oh my God, yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's what I say, man. Anytime you can get a mama, you all good. But anyway, let's see. Oh, Humpty Dumpty's back. How's the show going so far? Well, if you'd been watching, you would know. But thank you for tuning back in, Sam. So, Tommy, you've done the wrestling thing in the Northeast. You've done it in the Midwest. You've done it in the South. Have you ever been on the West Coast?
Like I said, I wrestled in California once. 2009, 2010, something like that. That was an experience. I was still super young. I honestly, looking at the talent on that card and where they are now, I should not have been there. But it was definitely eye opening. It was a little bit of a culture shock for me because the only other times that I had been around wrestling in California is as a fan when I was younger, because I also used to live in Anaheim for a while. So it was different. And again, it was a learning experience. Got my absolute ass handed to me, but I came out better. So I survived.
I mean, that's always good. But, when we was talking about different styles and stuff, like the West Coast is more, I'm not trying to tear anybody down. It's a spot show. I mean, it's
definitely more indie-rific, indie central, if you will. Yep. It's a lot more lucha influence.
Yes.
And that could be very clashy with the fundamentals that we're usually taught. But, they have their audience and they have their fans and they have their style that go directly to that style. So it's if you're bringing somebody from out west here, they might not succeed unless they're in the ring with the right person. But I think anybody from the South could probably hang with anybody in the West because they do bring that slower pace, more, I don't want to say TV style wrestling, but, just a different change of pace that maybe lets more moments sit in than just spot, because anybody could do flips and stuff like that. But people aren't going to remember the 17 flips you did. People are going to remember one specific moment in that match, and that's what's going to make you memorable. That's why character presence is so important.
That's like if you have a character. I mean, you can do one thing where somebody else does 1,000. We got to take a break, Seth. We got to pay bills. Check out strongcoffeecompany.com. Use the promo code ATI Wrestling and receive 20% off. Check out their Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm telling you, it is good. It's protein coffee. You're going to want to check it out. We got a couple more comments here. Let's see what happens. Lenore Lynn, what's your favorite style to learn about?
European style. I love European style grappling. The cravat is one of my favorite wrestling holds. I can watch World of Sport Wrestling for hours. Like Johnny Saint is one of my absolute favorites because not only did he blend the modern day sports entertainment that we see, but he was a fantastic wrestler as well. And that's one of the things that draws me to European wrestling so much is that they understand that wrestling is more sport than it's given credit to. And just the technical prowess of so many guys. Like, and you see it in the modern day now with people like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, people like Michael Oku. They understand European grappling. Even Charlie Dempsey in NXT, who is William Regal's son, like you can tell he's William Regal's son by the way he carries himself and just how precise he is with every single hold. You know, I love European style wrestling.
I like the European style wrestling. I want to break this up for just a second. We just found out, it was just announced. Jim Ross has been diagnosed with colon cancer. And so we're going to send our thoughts out to Jim Ross on that one. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Jim Ross, one of the greatest commentators of all time. I got a question. Who would you say was the greatest commentary team of all time? Or give me your top three.
Top three teams. I'm going to say Mike Tenay and Bobby Heenan. They definitely were great for me as a kid.
Mike Tenay was underrated.
I 1,000% agree. Let's say, again, from my childhood, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, because, again, that was the soundtrack of my childhood, the Attitude Era.
Mine too.
Honestly, Jim Herd with anybody. Jim Herd had such a great styling.
And a lot of people will don't even know that Jim Herd did it and stuff. But here's mine.
Wasn't exactly a fan of his running of WCW, but whatever. That's that. Spartacus. Oh my goodness.
Mike Tenay and Don West are slept on. They are, one of the top commentary teams. I give it, but mine I'm gonna say Monsoon and Heenan. Monsoon and Ventura, and I'm gonna say Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross. It just don't, that's my three. But see, I'm a little bit older than you, so that's where it comes in.
I get it
with that. But let's see what Steven Dixon's got to say. What are some of the promotions that you like the most?
That I like the most. Let's see. Let's go Northwest Ohio Wrestling in Toledo, Ohio. It's no longer around, but it was great in the 4 years that I was a part of it. Let's see. Let's go with Atlanta Wrestling. Hello, Christina. Let's go with Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment in Atlanta, Georgia. I got to be a part
of them.
I know them.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I love Murder One. Love Josh Wheeler. They do great work. And then... honestly, RCW in South Bend / Mishawaka. The vibes are always phenomenal. Those are probably my top three that I've worked for so far. Magnolia Championship Wrestling in
you didn't have to say that one. I mean,
I'm saying it's coming up there for me. Both times that I've been there, I've been treated fantastically. Had great matches. So yeah, that's up there for me.
Yeah, I ran shows in that building, the Pascagoula at the VFW, and that's venue's got a little bit of omniscience about it. It's a great venue to be in. And Chris is running MCW. He's been on the podcast. He took a ton of lashing, but he had fun, and hopefully we're gonna have him back on again because he's got a tournament coming up very soon at MCW. Yeah. Steven Dixon said, laugh out loud. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been working in the Pascagoula BFW for the last 6 years and for several different companies. See you Saturday, Christina Miller says. So I guess she's from Indiana. What part of Indiana are you from? So, or is she from India? Is she not from Indiana?
I'm pretty sure that originally from Florida. It's wild. Last RCW show, I was there. Right, we wrestled Daniel Stark and Madman Fulton, former Sawyer Fulton from NXT, and she happened to be there. Hadn't seen her since it had been a couple months because APW All Pro in Pensacola. I was the heavyweight champion there for a while, and yeah, she was always there. So it was wild. It was wild to just have that interaction. Two different parts of my life kind of blending, you know.
Yep, she's from South Bend. Well, Indiana is a great state. I love it. What's that? You're interested in a future booking at the GCW in Mississippi?
I'm not going to say no.
There you go.
I've had the Gulf Coast Championship Wrestling on my mind for a while. I'm just saying.
Oh, no, she's originally from South Bend.
Oh, originally from South Bend. See, I didn't know that.
All right, Sam, if you would watch the show, you would know he's going to be in Indiana Saturday.
Revolution Championship Wrestling, Mishawaka, Indiana. It'll be me and Damian Castle of Black Hand Society versus Big and Nerdy for the RCW Tag Team Championships.
Now, give me a little bit of info on your tag team partner, Damian Castle, because I've heard you bring him up several times. I actually watched your match with Alex Gunn and Steve O'Malley.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But man, give me some info on Damian Castle here.
So Castle, he just turned 21 yesterday, actually. Happy birthday, homie. He's a great young talent. I met him at the end of 2023, and what I saw from him, he had raw potential. And I literally went to Danny, who was the promoter of New Wave, and I told him, I want to work with this kid. I see something there. Give me a chance. Like, give me 4 months to work with him, and let's see where he goes. And from there, honestly, we trained every week. Every week, I was putting him through the ringer with it, and he has improved leaps and bounds from where he was. He was already ahead of the school where he originally came from. He was way ahead of him as far as character presence, as far as psychology, as far as understanding. And he just took everything like a sponge and just excelled beyond my belief. And at that point, I was just like, hey, you want to become a tag team instead of fighting each other all the time? And so we just started hitting the road. And like, he's a good kid, and he deserves a lot more chances than people have allowed him. And mainly it's because of his size. Like, you see a lot of big dudes. He's 6'3", 350. You see a lot of big dudes his size, and they're like, oh, well, he's just going to do the traditional chop and punch. And no, the kid can fly. Like, the dude moves faster than I do sometimes, and it scares me. And he's a real good kid. I'd love to see him get more opportunities. And I'm doing what I can, you know, as not only a mentor, but as a tag team partner, to get him in front of people that will appreciate his talent. But, you know, that's not up to me in the end. You know, I just hope that he keeps working hard and keeps loving wrestling the way he has.
Well, here's the thing, man. Stick with it, and you're gonna get there. I'm gonna tell you a little quick story. I'm posting something real quick, and then I'll tell you. Let me get that there. All right. So here's the thing. Go if you haven't looked. Make sure you like this video, but go look at my stories that I just posted on my Facebook page. They're funny. They will probably make some people mad. But anyway, they'll be all right. Hey, Tommy, that a brilliant one. There you go. It was a really good match. Let me ask you this. Maybe we can get the Black Hand Society on the podcast.
Ooh, that'd be fun. Ryan Razors, Damian Castle, and myself are actually, there's a spoiler. Oops. Indiana, be prepared. We're actually traveling up to Indiana starting tomorrow. So yeah, it'd be fun to have all three of us, you know, sit down for a nice little get around, you know, little family reunion, if you will.
Hey, I agree. I mean that, and let's do it. We'll talk about it when we get off. Want to know more about this Damian Castle as well. And let's see what else we got here. I've been living in Alabama for 3 years. Okay, what part of Alabama are you living in? Do you have electricity, running water? Is it a trailer park? Where's it at? And Tommy, like with Damien, you've been in the business 16 years, you said.
Yes, sir.
And from what I can tell, you're a genuine guy. You like helping people.
I try to. Some people like can't be helped, but it's fine.
But and that's funny. That's crazy. Like when you're talking to people or giving critiques or anything, it's like it goes in one ear and out the other. And you're sitting here thinking, you're looking at this person going, you're going, that was me about 15 years ago. I was doing the same thing that he's doing. So I know he's not listening. You picked up on that vibe.
A couple times with a couple different people. It's like if you're not going to take the advice I'm giving you and you're just going to be doing the same thing, why am I wasting my breath? Like you didn't genuinely care for my opinion, so why waste both of our times?
Well, that's just like we wasted other people's times early in our careers as well. Because they were sitting there looking at us saying, "Hey, this is what you should do," and you're like,
"No, I'm good. I got this. I know what I'm doing." No.
Yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing. And now we're sitting here years later going, okay, now I wish I'd have listened, but now I am listening and I'm old. That's the way I'm looking at it. You're not old.
Old, broken, and bitter. I'm just old, broken, and bitter, man.
Hey, can somebody out there come up with a really good question? And I'm not talking about matches. I'm talking about come up with something really good to ask Tommy here, because I got something else I'm going to run through here in a second.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's get with this. I'm going to go with a couple of names. I don't know that it, Ryan Razors. I don't know, man. Let me see if I can pull something up while we're talking about Ryan. I don't know if you know the history with me and Ryan Razors, but I didn't know Ryan when I did this, but he had come to a show with a person I like to pick on in an entertaining way, Tommy Wetgin. And I like Tommy. Tommy, if you ever hear anything I say about you, man, just let me say this. I don't mean nothing by it. I like you, Tommy. I do. But Tommy had come to one of my shows of the company I owned. And as a matter of fact, it was at the Pascagoula VFW. And I came out, and he was sitting there with Ryan. And I said, I looked at Tommy, which at the time was part of DCW. And I looked at him, and I said, Tommy Wetchin. I said, you had to come see what a real wrestling show looked like, didn't you? And Ryan's eyes got about that big when I said that, because I don't think he didn't know me. All right. So, but I've grown fond of Ryan. I think he's a great talent. Love his character work.
Absolutely.
Like, his character work is top notch. They say dress the way. Dress for the job you want.
Dress for the job you want. Yep. And he plays his character fantastically. Like everything, like character development to his promo work, in ring, he has become absolutely not only just one of my favorite people in general, but one of my favorite people to watch. Because I'll sit there and I'll try to watch all my quote unquote kids matches, all the people that ask me for advice and like I travel with and mentor. I'll sit there and try to watch all their matches, and Ryan just always blows me away. Like I said, his presence is second to none when it comes to some people, and it is wild. And he's only going to keep getting better. Like the little tweaks and touches that he keeps adding. Now he's a monster that can speak too. It blows my mind. I love it because he's no longer that that stereotypical Kane 98 character that a lot of spooky gimmicks go for. He's legitimately like a terrifying dude as Ryan Razors, and I love it. I love it so much.
Oh yes, I mean he is. I want to show you something. I don't know if you've seen this, so I'm gonna have to pull this up in just a second. But before we get to that, Ryan is such a great guy. He really is.
Absolutely.
Stephen Dixon remembers. I know you were there that night when I said that to Tommy, and Tommy, and so was Kim. She was there. But I want to show this. Let let me pull that comment down so I can show you this. Show you this picture. I don't know if you saw this. Me and Ryan, I've got an idea because I'm a flamboyant manager. I'm out there. I got wacky suits and stuff. But anyway, I took a picture and I did some AI work here, and this is what came out of it.
I did see that. I saw that. I love that. That's fantastic.
and I just I think Ryan is a great talent. He brings a lot to the table. Now, you got to start in DCW. Nothing wrong with DCW. I'm not gonna go down that path anymore. I've been down it before. But anyway, my thing is this, and you would know this better than anybody. You've been in the business for 16 years. An independent wrestler should not be confined to one company.
I agree. I do firmly believe in being comfortable being uncomfortable. But if you're ever put into a situation where you feel like it's lose-lose, where either A, it's not going to do anything for your character, or B, it's going to go against your morals as a person outside of the character, you have all rights to say no. Because the worst they could do is, quote unquote, fire you. You can't get fired from independent wrestling. You can just get unbooked. And 9 times out of 10, if somebody's going to unbook you for wanting to do the right thing, you didn't need to be there to begin with. Like,
I agree.
Again, and I say, fuck New Wave.
I love it. Well, here's the thing. Let's see what Steven did. What do you think of the pig head? I think that is
fantastic. It's fantastic. I love being a big spooky boogeyman when I get the chance. So like his pig head, Castle has a burlap scarecrow style pig mask. I have a rabbit one. I also have what I call, so there's the dead rabbit, which is that one. There's the white rabbit. And then I have a couple other ones that I swap in and out, but like it's such aura. Seeing him lights out, that glowing pig head. It was one of the main things that caught my attention when it came to like just his presentation, because it is indeed so different. Like most recently you can compare it to Bray Wyatt and his lantern, and just like how having that, that one piece of your gimmick was, something to tie you apart from everybody else. And Ryan has that with that pig head, because it is something that captures your attention immediately. It's something that will get you to remember. Even if you don't remember a single thing that happened in that match, you're going to remember Ryan. You're going to remember how he made you feel. You're going to remember how, creeped out or spooked out you were by just his appearance. And that matters. That can get you more bookings than any flippy move or any wrestling you could do. It's just having an overall presence. Again, wrestling is about bringing in fans and bringing in money. That's a draw. Ryan is and can be a draw wherever he goes based upon his appearance alone, let alone he actually is a really good wrestler. His persona as Ryan Razors is what's going to get butts in seats. And more people need to realize that. I'm just saying.
I'll agree with you fully. And here's the thing, like with Ryan, not only that, Ryan is a humble guy. And that's something that is really hard to find in wrestling. Like me and Ryan shoot back. I'm sure he gets tired of me sending him stuff. Hey man, what do you think about this idea? Or what do you think about this? But I like to get everybody's opinions on stuff. Mm-hmm. And like, especially if we're doing kind of work together, right. I will, I'm gonna be like, because I'm one of those guys that thinks wrestling 24/7 or thinks entertainment 24/7. So, like, right. I may pop with something in my head at 5 a.m. and I'm like,
it's like, I wonder if XYZ could work. You're running through it. You're almost like shadow boxing in a way to like get positions and stuff. Yeah.
My wife is funny. Like, she'll tell you, and we love wrestling. Like, we've always loved wrestling since we were kids. We dated each other in high school. Went to prom together, broke up for 12 years, got back together, got married, been married for 8 years now. Yeah. Her dad, no joke, he passed away in 2020. Great man, loved him to death, even though he held that shotgun to my head, made me marry her. But no offense, I'm just joking. But he passed away in 2020 during the COVID era, and he had been having a lot of health problems and stuff, but
and that compounded, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but he looked like Mean Gene Okerlund. And I'm not joking. Like, I mean, he was this is. I wish I could find the picture. I'll have to find it sometime and show you. But he looked like Mean Gene Okerlund. And when my wife was like a baby, like she was like 2 or 3 years old, she was watching wrestling, and Mean Gene Okerlund would come on, and she would start crying. Why is my daddy on TV? Because they look so much alike. But we've been in wrestling for so long. My wife she's like, oh, there's nothing like waking up at 3 a.m. and hearing Japanese commentators.
Oh, Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, and this was before I used to watch NJPW World like live before they had the English commentary. And my wife's like, she's like, I've heard so much Japanese now. I believe I understand the language. And
going back to a previous question, another notable opponent I had, I was actually in a 8-man tag match with Scott Norton. It was his match right before he went back to Japan for the New Japan Rumble that next year. It was me, my brother Eric. It was me, my brother Eric, Ricky Williams, and Cassius Kutcher on one side. It was Chip Stetson, Scott Norton. I can't remember who else was in that match. Besides, I can't remember who else was in that match. But then they were also managed by Kevin Nash, who didn't wrestle, but he was ringside for it. And like that was another good moment. I forgot all about that. That was at In Your Face in Dwaynesburg, New York. That was fun. That was fun.
Wow. Being around Kevin Nash and Scott Norton, and a lot of people don't realize Scott Norton's a legend in Japan.
Oh yeah. Former IWGP heavyweight champion. Just absolute sweetheart, absolute legend. Like I learned so much. I also learned how much beer I actually can drink that night. But yeah, did he tear his quads? No, that'd be really sad if he tore his quads on the mic.
Man, Scott, I remember watching Scott back in New Japan. Like, I watched Wild Pegasus, Chris Benoit. I remember seeing him in Japan. Like, I did tape trading.
Wow.
That's how old I am. Okay. I did tape trading. So, seeing all that stuff, man, it's just like, did he tear his quads?
Yeah, like I said, that would have been really sad if Nash tore his quads while just on the microphone.
Yeah. Well, which I wouldn't put it past Nash to pull that, but that's neither nor here nor there. But anyway, but yeah, it's like people don't understand how big Hogan was in Japan either.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan wrestled in Japan. Like everybody says, oh, he couldn't wrestle. He couldn't do nothing.
No, Hogan wrestling in Japan and Hogan wrestling in America are two different, completely different people. Like his Axe Bomber Lariat was one of my absolute favorite moves to watch because it looked intense. Like the whole crooked arm bow. I'm hitting you regardless. Like there's no overshooting you. You're eating all of this. Like, and he understood the difference in, I hate the term, but he understood the difference in work rate. Like America, WWF, WWE, whatever.
He didn't have to work in WWF.
Yeah, it was a pose and a leg drop. And his charisma just got him where he needed to be. In Japan, he worked his ass off. And I cannot stand Hulk Hogan as a person, but I can respect what he did.
I'm right here. I'm the same way.
I can respect what he did for the craft.
All right, let me just say this. You don't have to like the person, but you have to give them credit where credit's due. And
absolutely.
I was never a Hulk Hogan fan.
Same. Wrestling today would not be where it is if it wasn't for Hogan's Kickstarter. And that's non-arguable, But as a person, well, him and Vince McMahon are two people that I wouldn't cry about when they finally kick the bucket. I'm just saying.
And what I'm gonna just say is it's probably gonna be a long time before they kick the bucket because they stick around. But I'm gonna just say this:
lives forever.
Yeah, like here's my thing. McMahon was a part of my childhood. Hogan was a part of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
That no matter what the situation is on McMahon, you can't deny that he is him and Hogan, and you want to say Hogan because he was the poster child,
Right.
but it was McMahon that was the brain.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
and Hogan performed it. But if it wasn't for those two, would we be enjoying wrestling what we're doing right now?
No.
So
no. And you could even say that, if it wasn't, McMahon, it was Bischoff and, the NWO, that still involved Hogan.
Hogan was involved in so many historic moments in wrestling. And I'll tell you what, the only time that I became a Hulk Hogan fan, or I even rooted for Hulk Hogan, was when he joined the NWO. That was the only time.
Same.
That was the only time that I had any kind of thing to do with it. They're going to be like Ric Flair and live forever. Well, yeah, you know what? All right, and I'm going to say this we've been talking about Jake Roberts. All right, out of Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, and Jake Roberts, am I surprised that Hulk Hogan's alive? No. Am I surprised that Ric Flair's alive? A little bit. But Jake Roberts, I am beyond shocked that man's still alive today.
Yeah.
And what he's overcome and what he has become right now, and I know he's not in the greatest of health, but gosh, did he find redemption with DDP Yoga?
Yeah, shout out to DDPY, not sponsored.
Yeah, he may not be sponsored, but I'm gonna just say this: Jake Roberts should have been dead years ago.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he survived most of what.
Yeah, between the drugs and the alcoholism and everything else, health wise, it's truthfully a redemption story, and it was kind of what I was hoping for when it came to Scott Hall as well. But time affects us all differently, and yeah.
Well, and that's what I say. And Scott Hall, I look at Scott Hall, and I think he did find redemption. I do think that he got in that place. I just think it was too late, but there's a purpose for that.
Yeah.
And Scott Hall, one of my childhood guys as well. I loved that, he did find peace. And I love that saying, bad times don't last, but bad guys do. And Scott, yeah, exactly. He was great. And let me get to some more of these comments here. They're going to be like, "Raw, no, we got that one." All right, Steve Dixon. Jake had a heart procedure either this morning or yesterday. Yes, I saw that. He's been on
Yeah.
But my thing is this, man. Like Jake is got to be. He's here for a reason.
Yeah.
Like for this long and what he's went through, because like at WrestleMania 8, he wouldn't even come to the show unless he got some cocaine and stuff. And he's even did that at indie promotions. And for him to still be where he's at, I was anti-Hogan. I rooted for Dino Bravo. Man, I'm sure. Of course you rooted for somebody that smuggled cigarettes. No, I like Dino Bravo. Earthquake, Andre Macho, so forth. I'm going to tell you what. When I was growing up, and I'm a kid, and I know they're going to call me a heel mark. But when I was growing up, I was not a Hogan fan. Never bought into the Hulkamania. But you want to know who my favorite person was in the 80s and the early 90s when I was a kid? Could you even take a wild guess? Because I don't even know if you could guess this one.
I want to say Harley Race.
No, it wasn't Harley Race, but it was kind of it was in that. All right, let's put it this way. It was 89, 90. He was pretty hot. It wasn't like, he was pretty big top. Like it wasn't Harley Race. Harley Race had done kind of winded down. I am a Harley Race fan. Don't get me wrong. But
was it Lawler?
I love Lawler, but no, it was Rick Rude.
That is a very good choice. Very good choice.
Here's the thing. Rick Rude had a good look to him.
Mm-hmm. His charisma was up there.
And his mic skills were just unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was always drawn to Rick Rude, especially when him and Warrior took on each other. I was never a Warrior fan either. When he took on Warrior at SummerSlam 90, Like, I wanted Rick Rude to win the WWF Championship so bad. I was like, come on. Like, I was rooting for it when he had Jake Roberts' wife on his tights.
That was again,
that's you. That's real.
That's so iconic of an image. And like that's something that sticks with me. Like when I went back and watched older wrestling, as I got like, to be fair, I didn't even know independent wrestling existed until 2001 after WCW was out of business. Because at that point, as a kid, all I knew was WWF, WCW. Like, but going back in time and seeing like these iconic moments, like Rick Rude having Jake's wife on his tights, or going back and watching Macho versus Steamboat, like you really get the appreciation of the sports entertainment aspect of professional wrestling, not just move, because wrestling in the 80s was so slow paced that you had to be a character to stand out.
It was in a headlock for 20 minutes.
I'm glad we moved on past that. Now it's like 3 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. All right, Chris Chambers just brought up somebody, $1 Million Man.
Tommy, I
want to tell you. I got to tell you a funny story. So this was probably 2006. No, maybe it was before that, 2004. I was hanging out with this girl. She was like, really not. I mean, we were friends. We were just really friends. That was it. And we're sitting there one day, and I'm watching, like, she's over at the house hanging. And we were just talking and joking around. She actually had a boyfriend that hated me. He said I bullied him in high school, which, I mean, look at me. Do I look like I could bully somebody? Anyway, she had a boyfriend. He was like, oh, he bullied me. I said, I never bullied that guy in high school. I don't know what he's thinking, man. He failed Jenny Craig. That wasn't my problem. But anyway, so.
Not a bully at all.
No, see. Like, but anyway, she was sitting there, and she's like, you love wrestling? I was like, yeah. She's like, who was your favorite? And I said, man, I love Ted DiBiase. And I was like, I love Rick Rude. And I love these people. She's like, you like Ted DiBiase? I said, yeah, I got him to sign a book in Meridian one time. That's where I live in Meridian. At Books of Me. And he had us autograph signed. She's like, oh, really? She's like, have you ever been to his house? I said, to his house?
That's just a thing you can do.
I said, like, why would I? If I could go to his house, I'd go to his house. She's like, do you want to go to his house? I said, yeah, I'd love to go to his house, but how can I go to his house? She's like, well, I'm friends with Teddy Jr.
Mm.
I said, you're full of shit. She's like, get in the car. And I got in her car, and she's like, we're going to go see Ted Jr. He's like my best friend. I'm like, I thought I was your best friend. She's like, you are, but he's been my best friend forever. I'm like, she's full of shit. We pull up to this house in Clinton, Mississippi. Rings the bell. Comes across, says her name. The gate opens. We pull up. This was before he got to WWE, but here comes Ted DiBiase Jr. He walks out, hugs her. Hey, how you doing? Guess who walks out the door next?
Big Ted.
Nope. Brett DiBiase walks out next.
His brother.
So Brett comes out, shakes my hand. Hey, man, how you doing, ball? And then Big Ted comes out. And I actually got a picture with him. I don't know if I can pull it up. I'll try to find it. But anyway, came out, shook my hand, and I went to Ted DiBiase's house that day. And so I was like, she's like, I went to school with him forever. We've been best friends forever. I can call him anytime. I was like, get the hell out of here. I couldn't believe it. And then she drove to his house. I was like, okay, all right, I'm good with it now. The rest told Randy from before he became best told Randy. Yeah. A lot of
love me some Randy Orton.
All right, so let's go to Randy Savage for a second. A lot of people will say that WrestleMania 3, Steamboat Savage, the best match.
Best match of all time.
But it did not sell the tickets.
No, because the attraction was Andre Hogan.
And that match was nowhere near a wrestling match, was it? But it was the attraction, right?
It was the attraction, and that's what got butts in seats
it got the butts in the seats, and then the people that were in there got to see one of the greatest matches of all time, which was not Hogan and Andre. Nothing away from them, but it was Savage and Steamboat. And I still go back and watch that match to this day. It was one of the best.
Absolutely.
Love
The
me some
pacing,
Randy.
the psychology. Love it.
Yeah. Yes, it was. And Savage, as a matter of fact, we're looking back on it. I want to say it's been 14 years he passed. Right around
Yeah, that
14,
sounds about right.
Yeah, about 14 years. I remember when it, around the time, I knew it was in May. And because one of my buddies walked up to me, looks like Randy Savage died. And I looked at him, I said, "You're lying."
Oh, yeah.
And
May 20th, 2011.
So we're 5 days away from it. So in 5 days, it will be 14 years. That's unbelievable. But yeah, man, I mean, like, we went through some stuff. Let me go through this. Check us out on social media. You can look me up, add me as a friend, or follow me on Facebook at Brandon Turner. Check out The Brilliant One on Instagram, The Brilliant One on TikTok, and Brilliant #1 show on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, come on over to Facebook and check us out as well. Thank you. Tommy Xero, man, I've enjoyed having you on. Like I said,
pleasure was mine, man.
we're going to have to get the black Smokey Robinson is under criminal investigation. Just popped across my phone. You know who Smokey Robinson is?
Legendary singer, absolutely.
We were getting to the singer before, but I do appreciate you coming on. We're going to have to get Black Hand Society on pretty soon. But
It'd be so fun.
Before we get ready to close out, I'm going to mention a couple of names. One of the names, the first one I'm going to start with, where they're going to be wrestling names and they're going to be other names. But let's start with hold on just a second. Tommy, you're awesome. That's what Chris Chambers says. Chris, hey, your lips are a little brown. You need to get a little toilet paper and wipe it off. You do that every night with me. Great guest. Oh no, Tommy's been a phenomenal guest, not a great guest, phenomenal. But let's start with a great name.
Okay.
What do you think about the Sean Puffy Combs trial right now? What you think? What you think's going on?
Lock him up. It's insane. Man. Lock him up.
Cassie let it all out the other day, didn't she?
Oh my god. I have read through the text messages that they released, and holy shit, if he doesn't end up in jail somehow, we have failed as a society.
Oh, if he don't end up getting life, something is wrong. He's got RICO charges and everything. Like, they only give that to mob bosses.
Yeah,
so
it's
now,
wild.
Yeah, this is getting crazy. And I was talking about it, like Cassie testified and like she let everything out the bag, and then I'm sitting here going, yeah, man, this is it. And then they're like, oh, no, we got 8 more weeks of stuff. That ain't nothing. We ain't even touched the iceberg yet.
What do you mean we just started?
I'm like, golly. At least I got a full head. Chambers, I ain't never seen you have a full head of hair. I mean, you may have a full belly, but not a full head of hair.
I gotta say, we're in here like I've only seen your head shaved, bud.
Exactly. All right. Up next, we are going to get to some wrestling personalities, and I want to get to the first. We have already talked a little bit about him, but I want you to elaborate a little bit more on our friend Ron Razors.
Absolutely phenomenal talent. The sky is the limit for him as long as he keeps his confidence up and realizes who he is as a character and sticks to it, and constantly evolving as well. Throwing in little dashes. He's going to be just fine. He's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I love Ryan. I think he's a great person, great human being, and great talent. Second up, we've already talked about him a little bit, but let's go ahead and let you spill the beans. I'm trying to make this a little easy before we dig into some real stuff. Okay. Damian Castle, man.
Little brother, more like a son, honestly. Having him under my wing has been nothing but a pleasure. Watching him grow and develop, not only as a wrestler, but as a person, has been truthfully like inspiring. Like without him, I don't think I would be pushing still as hard as I am to go further in wrestling. I think I might have just petered out and just stayed doing local stuff. And that's never really been my style, but that's how I was feeling until I started traveling with him, and he just really ignited that fire again. Phenomenal talent. He's young, he's listening, he's hungry. Again, he's another one. The sky's the limit as long as he understands the difference between work and show. Like there's certain times to do certain things, and when you have to actually apply them, he's gonna be fine. Love that kid.
Second up, now we're gonna get a little bit tougher here.
Okay.
Our third up, we're gonna get a little bit tougher here. Steve O'Malley.
Steve O'Malley. Been in a ring with him once. He was fantastic. He's much from the same old school mindset that I am, but still understanding that new school things are fine because that's where the entertainment factor is. So I enjoyed my time in the ring with him. Don't really know much about him outside of my time with him there, but yeah, he's a good dude from what I could tell.
Now I love Steve. I think Steve. Me and Steve have always gotten along, or at least he's pretended to get along with me. I like Steve. I think he's got that old school mindset.
Yeah.
But he can go. If you want to go, he'll go. I like Steve. All right, let's see. Who else do you know? All right, let's bring up Chris Topper, MCW owner. We got to go there. I got to give him a little shine of ass whooping. So go ahead and give it to him.
As far as I know about Chris, he's treated me well. He's given me a lot of opportunities. Me and Damian Castle both a lot of opportunities to show who we are as a tag team. Because that's the thing. Usually, even though we are based in the South, we don't get a lot of tag team work down here. Like it's a lot of single stuff. But he's given us a platform with MCW to show who we are as a tag team. And, so far we've gotten to be in the ring with two great teams. Muddy Waters, we just
oh my God, don't bring up Muddy Waters. We don't talk about that's censor that. We don't talk about Muddy Waters. No, I love RJW and Geo Savage. Geo Savage, man, that's like the Denzel of independent wrestling. Like the good look, the good body, everything.
Absolutely,
he's got.
absolutely.
Charisma. God, I mean, he oozes.
Hell of a talent. Hell of a talent.
And then RJW's just ugly. Actually, RJW lives like literally 12 minutes from my house.
I probably speak a little lower then.
Yeah. Well, okay, man. I'll take care of that.
Blew my mind. Was not expecting that. Was not expecting that at all the first time I talked to him.
Look. All right, so I met RJ back in 2019, somewhere around that area. And I was like, hey, man, what you doing? And I walk in. All right, so I go to Battle Zone, which is where he was at the show. And I think I was ring announcing. I can't remember what I think it was ring announcing. And I get there, and I'm like, he's the only one there at the time. And like I walk in, I'm introducing myself to, a couple people and then shaking hands and whatnot. And I walk into the locker room, and here he is just sitting on this couch. And like you can tell he's big, and he just stands up and he's like towering over me. And I'm like, hey man, Brandon, how are you doing, brother?
Like, and at first I thought it was just a voice he was putting on. And
I thought it was a work.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, that was a thing that happened. And we go to call our match, and it's just like, no, this is real. This is his real voice. He's not changing it up. Okay. Blew my mind, but great dudes. Like I said, when it comes to Chris, I thank and appreciate him for allowing us to showcase our abilities in the ring with talents like Muddy Water and Alex Gunn and Steve O'Malley. Like it's been real fun.
Man, I can tell you another thing about Julius too. I love Julius. He's I said his. I'm sorry. It don't matter. You got a Facebook and you don't even use your you don't even use your damn gimmicks Facebook, so whatever. But no, I love him to death. He's a great guy. And, he was a part of Brilliant Ink at one point. And like I sent him in, he won the Mississippi Championship at AWA, 45 seconds, record breaking.
Oh,
But yeah, RJ's he's always been man. He's been around. I've been around RJ since he pretty much got in. But Taker in Suburban Commando, and that was when Taker was under contract with WCW, and
Yep.
Hogan was under contract with WWF at the time. So, wow. Did you ever see that movie? Because I watched about 5 minutes of it. That was
No.
awesome.
I've never watched all of it through. I've tried multiple times, never watched all of it through.
I tried to watch that, and there was another one, not Mr. Nanny.
Was it Santa with
But there was
Muscles?
I can't remember what
I
it
think that was
was.
the other one.
Now, I watched No Holds Barred. I don't know how I watched that either, but I watched it. But there was a movie, I can't remember. Was it Suburban Commando? Was that one?
I have very few Hogan movies in my brain.
I do too, but I'm just thinking it was either Suburban Commando 1. The trailer was playing, it was on like Prime or something. And the trailer was playing, my wife said, "Oh, hell no, we're not watching it."
Quick veto.
Yeah, Ready to Rumble is one of my favorites. Speaking of that,
I love Ready to Rumble. It's so bad. It's so bad, but it's so good.
Exactly. It's so bad, it's good. Monty Warbucks and me are going to review that movie very soon. So y'all tune in and stay there. All right, we're going to get to it. Urban Commando? No, it was Suburban Commando. It wasn't Urban Commando. All right, let's get to this next deal. So I mentioned Chris Topper, Steve O'Malley, Damian Castle, Ryan Razors, and I want to bring up one of my personal favorites.
Okay.
One of my clients, or my only client at the time. What do you think about Vladimir Koloff, and would you like to get in the ring with Vladimir?
From anything I've seen from Koloff, he is a phenomenal talent. I understand that he went through a huge body change, made himself into this absolute tank of a human. I think his charisma, from anything I've seen clip-wise, is phenomenal. He's a great wrestler. He truthfully understands the business, and I personally want more Koloff. Book it.
Yeah, let's book it. You know what? Look, we need to make that happen. We're going to talk about making that happen. But anyway, man, thank you for coming on. Don't go nowhere, by the way. But if anybody, I'm going to give anybody the last chance. If they got a question for Tommy Xero, this is the time to put it in. Let's hear it.
What you got? What you got?
What is Chambers saying? They Live with Piper. They Live was good.
Fantastic movie. Fantastic movie.
But I love Roddy Piper. I'll just say this. Roddy Piper was one of the greatest talkers. He may not have been the greatest in-ring worker, but he was the greatest talker. You forgot about his in-ring work.
I named my daughter after Roddy Piper. Her name is Piper. So trust me, I'm a Roddy Piper fan.
Thank you. I love that. That is great. Roddy Piper is one of the great. He does. Roddy Piper is one of the greatest talkers that has ever lived. No doubt. I will put him on my Mount Rushmore.
Little known member of the Hart family as well.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Him and Bret Hart had one hell of a match at WrestleMania 8.
Mm-hmm.
And people talk about his work rate. They talk about his in-ring skills or whatever. Dude killed it at WrestleMania 8. And that storytelling, along with the match.
Chef's kiss.
Yes, couldn't beat it. What was your major influence to get into wrestling? He already said that. It was Pamela Anderson. And what was it, Tommy?
Besides Goldust and Razor Ramon, like I said, that was the first match I had ever seen. And I didn't know independent wrestling existed until 2001, 2002. Like I said, it was after WCW got bought out. And I happened to be on, it was a Pro Boards site when Pro Boards was a thing, Envision Free Pro Board, whatever.
Oh my gosh, man, that's cool.
I came across a DVD rip, IWA Mid-South, CM Punk, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. I had no idea who CM Punk was, but I knew Eddie Guerrero from WCW. I knew Rey Mysterio from WCW. Let me give it a try. And I fell in love with independent wrestling there. I, for the longest time, was a huge CM Punk fan. I was a Punk fan until about 2012, 2013, something like that. And it kind of just wore off for me.
2013 is about right. Yeah.
But watching that match made me dive down a rabbit hole. I discovered New Japan. I discovered All Japan. I discovered Aja Kong for the first time.
Aja Kong, I saw her in 1995 at the Survivor Series in WWF.
Yeah, and then it drew me to Joshi wrestling somehow. So like I said, Megumi Kudo, Aja Kong, like they were huge inspirations to me. And then just seeing everything they were able to do, and I wanted to be a wrestler so bad at that point. Like I used to get in trouble in school, like, and I went to Catholic school, so like I was doing like backyard wrestling matches on concrete in the playground, and I got in so much trouble. It was never for cross chopping; it was for literally trying to hit somebody with a DDT multiple times. So, like those were huge inspirations to me, and honestly, still to this day, I'll go back and watch Joshi wrestling because their work rate was so amazing then. But yeah, that was it.
Man, Tommy, once again, want to thank you for coming on. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we get the Black Hand Society back on soon. And everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for leaving the comments. Remember to like the video, pump it up some. And,
like, comment, share. If you're on Facebook, like and subscribe down there on YouTube. I don't know how to go. I think it's like.
I think you're doing it just right.
TikTok if we're over here.
Oh, hold on. Not sure the validity is, but heard Aaron Riff, founder of No DQ. I have not heard that, but I will. Bye, Felicia. All right. We'll see y'all soon. Kayla Angel says, love you.
Love you. Good to see your mom on Saturday.
There you go. And but we'll see you soon. Remember to like the video, share it, check out the Brilliant Show. We're here Monday through Thursday. Like tomorrow night, won't be on here. I got a show tomorrow night. It's a closed show. It's at Camp Shelby. Crusade Pros doing it for the troops. We'll be there for that tomorrow night. Saturday night, got to take care of some family business. Sunday night, we got Rob Cabela coming on, and that's going to be an interesting interview. And then we got Frankie Thomas Monday. Check it out with Frankie. But Tommy, thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Right, on the Brilliant Show.
Lights blaze bright, it's a glorious sight. The champ of the mic owns the night. With a mind so slick and a suit so clean, he's running this ring like a wrestling machine. From gold-plated deals to jaw-dropping schemes, he's the mastermind of your wildest dreams. Stand up, take note, bow down if you can. It's the Brilliant Show with the Brilliant One.